Hi guys, welcome to this upload for you guys here exclusively only on Wrestling Fan Open Mic Night. I will be hopefully having a few guests on in the near distant future. Obviously, at the moment, it's yours truly going to be talking about professional wrestling. Sorry, it feels like I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to you guys at home. And keep obviously that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you'll be notified anytime when I do any uploads. And I can't thank you enough. I keep saying it. I can't thank you enough to make this channel grow to what it is today. Now, today's video, I want to say this. I want to stress you, hands down, I do know it's the WWE product. Because as you may or may not know, I've turned off since SummerSlam 2025. But I technically keep up with it when I see TikTok feed with people uploading clips from the show and everything, including WWE themselves. And I feel like, is that enough to enjoy what WWE has to offer? Inverted commas, enjoy, or find it drizzling shits. At the moment, I'm finding it drizzling shits, but I still talk about it because it really frustrates me because, quite honestly, I look at the products at the moment and I feel like, what direction are you going? It annoys me the living hell that by the looks of it, right? I want to point this out. If we see the bloodline reform, reunite, and that lot, I feel stop recycling storylines. It's getting to the point where it's getting out of hand. I'm sick and tired of rehash. Think of something new and fresh. You know, I'm not being funny. You're trying to insult our mentality as wrestling fans. That's how it feels to me. Because I look at the way this, if you are bringing the bloodline back, why? It has no purpose. It serves no purpose. You already tried it when it sort of disbanded, when you had the likes of Jacob Fatu, JC Mateo, Solo Sikoa version on SmackDown, but I just felt like that didn't connect as much as the OG bloodline. Fair enough. Solo Sikoa took over the OG bloodline and then started his own bloodline. But then all of a sudden you see out of the blue, you literally had Solo Sikoa, JC Mateo, Jacob Fatu. Obviously, they had their disgruntled relationship sort of thing and that lot. And I feel like that didn't grab anyone's attention because I felt when I looked at that, with the way you were treating when Jacob Fatu obviously technically disbanded from you and JC Mateo replaced him, I felt like, yeah, that sort of worked, but when you had Jacob Fatu in the bloodline itself with Solo Sikoa at the time, I felt like Jacob Fatu was overshadowing Solo Sikoa. Big time. A lot of fans were liking him because how he was different, how he was brash, how he was basically a lunatic fringe like Dean Ambrose was in the Shield back in the day. And still is, obviously, Jon Moxley the way he is in the Death Riders. So I feel like it didn't connect that much with the fans. And now when you look at the stuff, what you are doing, if you are bringing the bloodline back, I would actually say this, please don't. Now, this is not me disrespecting the likes of the talent involved, because as you know full well, I've said for many uploads, it's not the talent, it's actually the company themselves, letting themselves down. But I feel like bringing the bloodline back, yeah, fans will lap it up, but I personally do not want to see it. Because I feel like it's run its course. It ran it decently for 5 years. Why do you have to bring back something back? Is this because of the Saudi Arabia fan base wants it back, ready for Royal Rumble and all that lot? It just feels that way to me. And I look at that and I'm thinking, why are you bringing back the bloodline? Why? The OG bloodline. I feel like at the moment, if you brought that back, I don't think you'll have that same sort of connection. that sort of power where you had the likes of the Usos, you had the likes of Roman Reigns, you had the likes of Sami Zayn. You know, you don't. I feel like you won't have that same sort of power towards that, even though people may lap it up if you watch it like a diehard fan would. But I think it ran its course over 5 years, and that was a decent amount of time that you actually had. It was one of the best things that WWE had in recent years in the 2020s. And it got people invested into the product. It got people watching SmackDown. Are they now trying it on Monday Night Raw? Because if I recall, it didn't go on Monday Night Raw until obviously Bloodline versus OG Bloodline versus Bloodline. And I feel like if that happens sort of that way, I do not want this to happen. Because I feel like the way you're messing people's minds up, and I'm thinking, what is the whole sole purpose of this? You know, it's like you've split the Usos up. You main Jey your main eventer to a point. Have the world title, and now you look what you're doing with him. You're pointing him back with his brother. But 1 minute you were teasing they were going to split up, and it seems like now you're not. I'm like, okay, what are you doing here? Where's the consistency? You know, it's the same thing with the likes of AJ Styles came out last night. He says, it's because of you fans that I've got a match at Crown Jewel. Stop playing to the crowd. I'm not being funny. If WWE fans lapped up this bullshit, they are stating that it's the fans. It's not the fucking fans. You're just trying to say that to make you look good in front of the camera to appeal to the people that are actually, how to put it, that WWE's listening to us as fans. Well, Mara speaking, not myself. I mean, like in general. Listening to the people that actually pay for the tickets, pay for the merchandise, pay for everything. Talk to social media. You know? It's quite funny, right? You put that stickler out there. That is the most cringiest promo I've seen AJ Styles. And it says, I have come back doing what I love doing. Only a couple of weeks ago, you were shooting your shit saying nobody wants you around, and then you literally turn face again. It bugs me certain things, and as you can tell by obviously my previous uploads and this one. So AJ Styles is basically doing his usual shtick, and I'm thinking not his usual shtick, and I'm thinking for fuck's sake, at least one thing they've got him out building this match towards John Cena. You know, but you could have actually. So he's now facing the face of John Cena. He should have been the heel, other than saying, I'm making him famous because I'm kicking his ass. And I'm like, one more time, and all this lot. And I'm like, I've seen better promos in the E-Fed world that I've cut myself for XVPW based here on YouTube. Check them out, even though they take a while to put shows out, but it still, you know, serves its purpose. So I look at that and I'm thinking, okay, it is what it is. You've got to accept what it is. And then fucking Cody's literally cutting promo against Seth Rollins. I'm like, okay. But it's becoming cringeworthy now, to the point where I'm literally seeing Cody saying, the future of this company is controlled by these people. Okay, then fair enough. You insinuating the fans once again. You insinuate the fans once again. You know, I'm not being funny, right? If that was the case, and we was controlling the show and listening to us, what we have to say about what's been going off in the WWE, you think the WWE would have latched on and improved? You know, certain things like ticket sales, prime example. You know, this is the problem where it lies, is the prices you are charging out the fans, which is very frustrating. You know, and if we so control the shows, okay, then if we tweeted our displeasure, other than Triple H mocked us in 2000 and I think it was 18 or 19, I can't remember which, right? Saying about people would riot. It's got to the point where it's mind-numbing. You're going over the same shit, and then you think, okay, you're finally getting women's wrestling on board, promoting them. Okay. You're only promoting Kairi Sane, Asuka, and Io Sky, or Shirai, whatever you want to class her as. That you're only promoting them because they're putting them in a storyline because obviously they've got the Super Show in Japan. You can see straight through the bullshit. It's quite funny now that obviously with the words that Gail Kim said about Ryo and literally picked a few names, and lo and behold, these are the 3 names that they picked, and then now the focus point is now on them. All right. Julian is on SmackDown. She's not defended her US title in a while. Sami Zayn's had numerous of title defenses. This is why I say they're inconsistent. You brought AJ Lee back. Where's she now? I know I'm so against her coming back in the first place, but where's she now? You literally look at the Becky Lynch. Where is she now? The mid-card titles used to put wrestlers over to that next stepping stone, and I feel like you're not giving that. And then I see the likes on what happened on NXT No Mercy. Hoping for me to lose to Ricky Starks or Ricky Saints, whatever his class has nowadays. I'm not being funny, but I feel like Ricky Saints or Starks, whatever you want to class him as, is not. I'm not saying he's not ready. I'm not saying I don't think he deserves that top spot. That's just my own opinion. I feel like you look at the NXT locker room, there's loads of people deserving of that, or Obafemi keeping that. I've seen clips, don't get me wrong, with No Mercy in that lot. I've voiced my opinion recently on NXT. They had the best thing going, but they've rushed it. They had the best thing in 2025, but they rushed it. Go check that video out, please do. But that's what I mean. It just gives me a freaking headache that repeat. And it's annoying how much it repeats. You've got that many on your roster, but you are putting focus points that don't need to be focus points. You got the likes of fucking Roman Reigns came back. Yeah, fair enough, after filming Street Fighter. Fair enough. But it's the same old faces every single week. There's no uniqueness between the both brands when I look at the SmackDown either. And that really frustrates me. It's lacking so much that you're making wrestlers look stale, but they are far superior than what you are giving them. If that makes any sense. It's like, yes, I'm expecting, if I was watching the product, you say, I was expecting a banger from like Seth Rollins and the likes of Cody Rhodes. We've seen it done before. The same with AJ Styles and John Cena. We've seen it done before. This is the moment where you should be start building up your future, because you have not got that many wrestlers that is going to be in your company next year. You're losing the likes of AJ Styles, just say. You're losing the likes of John Cena, the massive point of your existence at the moment. You can't at the moment, I feel like when you look at the company, when I said not that long ago, build the company around Cody Rhodes, I feel like that went stale quite rapidly because the way WWE's been handling things. You know? It just... I want the best for WWE and the rosters, don't get me wrong, what they've got on their product. But it's not delivering. A lot of people get more wise to it as the weeks progress. I don't believe what I'm going to be saying this, but I feel like on paper, right, that WrestlePalooza was shite, but I feel like Crown Jewel's getting the better deal. Even though I'm worried how that's going to deliver on the night. And that's just me being honest. But there's so many talent that's being wasted. It's annoying the hell out of me when I see Ludwig Kaiser, Pete Dunne, and Tyler Bate being wasted. That really annoys me. This gimmick has gone literally on too long. You know, with the Americanos. Just annoys me when I see that, and I'm thinking they're doing it because they're in contracts with WWE. They give them whatever's given them. You know, the weird thing about it is when people used to say Vince McMahon used to say about cheesy gimmicks in the past that didn't work and all that lot. I'm surprised this is working. You know, you look at the golden era that I grew up in and the early 90s. There was so many cheesy gimmicks that didn't get over with the fans. I'm really surprised this has got over as long as it has. And if you look forward to watching Raw because of that gimmick, that proves how mental the world of professional wrestling is. You know, if you're a fan of this. It's weird to think we've not seen Logan Paul in a while. We've not seen him since Clash in Paris or something, if I remember rightly. That's what I don't get. You see, you are literally taking the spotlight off other people that you literally are putting the old people that have been around the roster for a while now. You should be elevating the next star, and I don't mean LA Knight because of what's been happening recently with LA Knight. You should have latched onto him when he was red hot, not wait 2 years afterwards. That's just my own opinion. Tell me your thoughts down below, please do. Until next time, guys, catch you guys safe, and obviously keep hitting that subscribe button, keep hitting that bell icon. Until next time, catch you guys later.